Hello, you angels. Dave Makes Noises here. Just wanted to remind you to please check out our new subreddit, r/Mr. Ripper, as we are constantly skimming that little sweetie pie over there for new stories to read on the channel. That's all up front. Let's get on with the goods. What are some trap ideas you have for Dungeons & Dragons? Part 2. Any of them which alters the perception or environment and turns it into a disadvantage. A lot of traps just deal damage, such as a spell discharge, or threaten with an impending doom like a spiked pit or a falling boulder, but most of them are made just to weaken the group, and in that opinion, doesn't give a feeling that they're there in order to stop anybody from entering or escaping. That's why I prefer hazardous environments or mind tricks. Oh, this is gonna get interesting. A hazardous situation is a pool of acid, a deadly poisoned spike pit with a door trap that closes again after activating, a hole leading to cistern in the dark filled with crocodiles, a chamber releasing gas when the doors close, a device releasing scorpion swarms, and so on. Something that makes you feel that if you don't overcome the trap immediately, you're doomed. Even harder is when you get a situation in which you're trapped with a monster under unfavorable conditions, like the swarms in the dark, the crocodile pool under low light conditions, a verdurous ooze in a musk-covered area, or one of my favorites, an iron golem approaching you, surrounded by flammable gas. Did I mention that fire heals iron golems? Watch out for sparks from, I don't know, hitting something metallic with your sword, tongue sticking out, face. Not to forget illusions and eye tricks. A mirror angled 45 degrees at the end of an L-shaped hallway can make you think that you're running into a straight corridor while charging a mirror before a deadly trap. Oh, and an illusion can only be tested by touching it. So go ahead with illusory smoke, corners, pits, and safe bridges over the abyss. Point is, a trap is supposed to be there to stop intruders. So the traps I prefer make you feel that you really are in an urge to get the hell out of there, turn an encounter into a fearsome challenge, or make you think you've been this close to fading away. Crap, lights out. Wait, you don't hear something? Oh God, something is touching my feet. I have something over my leg. In my experience, the best traps aren't the ones that kill, incapacitate, or slow the gameplay, as players check every available surface. The best traps are the ones that change gameplay and force characters into making interesting decisions. Brilliant, love it already. There's little interesting decision-making in getting shot by a hidden crossbow. At best, the player decides whether to consume a resource to recover the damage. This is okay, and it harkens to the wargame roots of the hobby, but it's a single exchange, and pretty much transactional. More interesting traps change the flow of the game, or otherwise require ongoing interaction, so there's a decision to be made as to who does the interaction, who undertakes certain risks, encounters environmental hazards, etc. For example, consider a hidden room behind a trapdoor. The trapdoor must be held open so that a character can go grab an idol, trigger a switch, activate a widget. This involves at least two characters, as one character must hold the door while the other performs the action. Who does what is already an engaging action, and it can be complicated by other dungeon perils. While the first character is holding the door and the second character is grabbing the idol room starts flooding, or holding the door open fatigues the first character, or skeletal guardians ambush. Does the first character stop holding the door to behave more tactically? What does the character grabbing the idol do? What if the door can't be opened again after the first character lets it close? What about other players? Much of this points back to the action economy of decision-making, and any nuance you can add to those player choices adds engagement to the game, rather than being a simple one-time consequence for failing a perception roll. I developed a trap called the Dick in a Box. The term was coined by my players. The trap works like so. One large 2-foot thick and sized stone chest sat inauspiciously somewhere. 1 teaspoon of pixie dust sprinkled onto set box, so it reads as magical when detect magic is active. 1 fireball spell stored in chest, ready to release itself when chest is opened. 1 piece of paper detailing an exquisite joke at the party's expense written by a tinker gnome named Sap. Your finished product. You now have a magical box that says it's magical, holding something magical. The fireball spell does not ping as existing within the stone box due to the limitations of detect magic. The chest has no keyhole and is merely latched shut. There are no possible observable traps on or around this chest. Upon your excited party opening the chest, a sudden fireball is released towards them. Afterward, due to the pixie dust drifting into the chest, a piece of paper floats around magically. Party is interested again. Dear adventurers, my name is Sap, and I hope you enjoyed my trap. Over time, I thought of this wonderful rhyme. You see, every treasure here is hidden well, but which ones are real, I'll never tell. So watch your step and each chest of treasure, for every burned piece of hair gives much laughter and pleasure. P.S. You suck, and will never find my masterpiece blade, said to change shape and size for any who wields it, while making them incredibly powerful. For the record, at the end of the dungeon, put in text, "Ha ha ha! You never found my sword, bunch of idiots!" Also, don't make any special sword. This will drive your players crazy, going back into the dungeon multiple times. Most ingenious part of the trap. I guess. I don't know, yo. This motherfucker hyped it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, this one, they hyped it up at the beginning by calling it a dick in the box. I guess technically it is a dick in a box, but I don't know. I was expecting something more dick jokey and less of a dick move. Yeah, they just called it a dick in the box and there was no dicks. Like, come on, give me that D. My personal favorite is the Gelatinous Cube Dropper. They trigger a pressure plate or a tripwire, and a hatch in the ceiling opens up, dropping a gelatinous cube on top of them, which they are now trapped inside of. Cue acid damage and panic. My DM in our current campaign likes traps that are obvious after you've triggered them. He puts trap chests next to coffins, and if you trip it, congrats, you're fighting a vampire now, which in hindsight, we totally should have seen coming. I have used the following traps in D&D, which my players told me tricked their expectations. Door lever and pressure traps. In order to open a specific door, I provide a lever and a pressure plate. I challenge the rogue with a trap, finding the difficulty of 19 to 22. If they succeed, they find the pressure plate, nailed it, and will require a second roll to truly disarm the trap. But most players never ask for the second roll. To open the door, they need weight on the pressure plate before they pull the lever. I never leave random weighty debris in these rooms. Thus, I am forcing the players to sacrifice a portion of their accumulated treasure to open the door or sacrifice one of the party. If they fail to accommodate the pressure plate and pull the lever alone, the entry door they used to come into the room slams and seals shut. Then the room itself begins to fill with either a toxic gas or, if appropriate, heavy torrents of water or inescapable lava flows. The room is then on short time for the group to solve the pressure plate lock mechanism in order to escape. Every time I have used this trap, someone dies to save the party, or the whole party dies because no one will sacrifice gold or a person to escape. False mimic expectations. This trap requires a bit of build-up to accomplish. Through initial rooms, I give copious amounts of treasure in chests without traps. Then I begin introducing weak traps to the treasure chests. After a few weak traps, I switch to mimics, replacing the treasure chests. After a couple of mimics, my players expect those, and I switch to genuinely dangerous treasure chest traps. That was a mouthful. I give the treasure chests the false auras and magical traces to hint at mimics, but when the players attack the chest, it reveals a regular wooden chest with explosives inside. Or, if I'm being especially devilish, the chest will have cursed gold and rewards. After they encounter this chest, I go back to regular copious amounts of treasure chests and build a false sense of security before the curse of that chest kicks in. By the time the curse kicks in, they can no longer say for certain at what point they got the cursed items, and the curse will have spread to the entire collection of treasure they have gathered. Now they must decide to tolerate the curse through the dungeon, to keep their rewards, or sacrifice an entire lot of rewards to remove the curse. Wow, that is a cold-blooded mindfuck right there. Whew. I do not want to play with that person. That sucks. Upside down. For this trap, I bring my players to a slide as the only route to go forward. The slide will be utterly innocuous to all appearances and easy to locate. As they take the slide down to the next level, it will swirl and do a loop. When it ends, the players will be under a reversed gravity effect. The roof of the dungeon is now the floor. As they travel upstairs, they will go deeper until they reach the outermost regions of the Underdark and pass through a barrier point through which the gravity effect will abruptly wear off, dropping them into the chasms of the underworld. As for going out of the dungeon onto the surface world, they will float away up into the sky, still ensnared by the magic, as there is no barrier to remove the spell there. The chasm on the surface world is always designed to be ambiguous as to which direction is sky and ground. The magic of the gravity spell I always keep minimal, so it eludes detection by those detect magic happy players. Yo, this DM is an animal, for real. This person is really mean, but like, hey, that's a way to play, I guess. Like, if your players fuck with that and they love to see how evil you can get, then like, by all means, do that. You know what I mean? So like, I get it, but like, dude, this dungeon master is unbelievably cruel. Midas Curse. I enjoy the concept of Midas's wish to turn everything he touches into gold. I have variants on the effect of the Midas Touch Curse. I have used bunnies, donuts, and invisibility as a few alternative results to the curse. I usually introduce the curse as a part of an outstanding piece of equipment I designed to target a specific character's eye. I always choose the person at the party who is too serious or perhaps greedy for their own good. The piece of equipment meets all needs and gives excellent bonuses, but at the cost of turning everything into one of the alternative options. I had a greedy rogue player I gave this curse to render every single trap and piece of the treasure he touched completely invisible. I had a paladin who took himself very seriously turn all his holy objects and subjects of lay on hands into donuts. Finally, I had a chaotic evil wizard turn all of his scrolls, spell books, and alchemical items into soft, fluffy, adorable white bunnies. Each player was simultaneously delighted and angry by the result of the curse, and often kept the curse instead of trying to remove it. Savage DM of the day, though. Good lord, that person's mean. Here are a couple that I've developed. I have used a chest of 10 potions labeled 1 to 10. 5 are labeled on a key scratched into the chest as being healing potions. The other 5 are not labeled but look similar to the healing potions. The 5 unlabeled ones can be whatever potion I feel like. The numbers on top of the bottles fade in 1d4 hours after being removed from the chest. Each time someone goes to drink one, I roll a die to decide whether they are drinking a healing potion or a mystery potion. Another one I used is good for treasure rooms. Place high-quality suits of armor around the rooms, and when someone tries to take something from the room, a few of the suits become animated armor and attack. If one dies, then another suit of armor comes alive and takes its place, etc., until all of the armor is destroyed, or the secret amulet powering them is destroyed, but shh, don't tell anyone. If someone happens to be wearing one of the suits of armor when it animates, the armor forces him/her to attack the rest of the party, although this effect can be resisted with a successful strength saving throw. DM determines DC. Hello, my lovable little saucy burritos. Thank you for saving us an attunement slot and hanging out for this short rest. I hope you recovered some hit dice. It was a hard-won victory indeed. If this is your first time stopping by, welcome. Please say hello in the comments. If you are a returning visitor, give me your best dad joke. Maybe I'll use the best one as a Tinder intro someday. Help me find true love. If you love you some coffee, check out our D&D friends over at Adventurers Coffee Company. Link is in the description. Drop that creamy Mr. Ripper discount code in there for some flawless Java. Shit's delicious. No, you can't get the civet poopy kind. Don't at me. I sincerely hope that you are making time to find peace during this turbulent and disorienting time in human history. I hope that all of the rapid changes happening in the world fill you with a renewed sense of hope in humanity, that your family and yourselves are well, as together as possible, and making the very most out of where we are at. If you love me and want me to smile, please check out my website, davemakesnoises.com. There's a lot of music on there. It's kind of my favorite thing to do. I love you. Rip Daddy loves you. Brian loves you. Extend an act of kindness to somebody you love today, or this week, or whatever. Just fucking do it. Please sub for Nat 20s. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.